No Board of Education has ever been actually officially trained in governance. And we took that on. No matter how much we might, again, disagree on a personal level, we all knew we had to get it together. COVID was my first term was, we were dealing with particular people and we had, a whole lot of drama and I had my learning curve. But my second term was COVID. And, you're already band-aiding an already kind of broken system. So we really had to get our stuff together and really look at, are we going to be able to make some change and stand our ground and tell folks that we can't just keep doing what we've been doing, and damn sure not after a worldwide pandemic slapped us in the face 14 ways a Sunday. So we took this training and there was a whole lot that we learned when it came to, student outcomes governance and where we should be focusing our time and how much we definitely weren't, while we're sitting at the table snarling and harumphing each other, we could have been really using that time to do right by our kids in our district. And I say we and I say our because I'm 100% part of that issue. I'm one of nine. I was doing it too. And I think that we overcame a lot of that drama. I individually, simultaneously and individually, took a governance course as well because I wanted to do more than just see the board aspect. I wanted to make sure that I was grasping it on an individual level. So when we talk about administrative, the nine of us oversee all the financial, but then also the superintendent's goals. And part of this training was to make sure we're not just giving goals to the superintendent as we've kind of done in the past, like, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. But this time around, we made sure that the superintendent was involved in every aspect of the goal creations, just to make sure. And at the time, it was Dr. Williams Knight. Do you have the capacity within your staff to reach these goals? How would this work if we want to attain this? How do we get there knowing that you guys are the boots on the ground? You're doing this every day. We're the most farthest removed from it. What would you do? And that's why our goals, if you look at our goals and guardrails now, they look the way they do because the superintendent was in lockstep with us creating those goals. Another reason I want to, maintain the seat for this one last term is to make sure that our monitoring systems that we've just implemented are working, that the goals that we just put in place make sense so that we can create policy on making sure that this is how we set goals moving forward. And it can be like a working, living, breathing document that can open it to strengthening the system, but at least the base system stays in place. All of this is all in the works. So, yeah, people don't see that we've been trying, not even trying, we've been doing the damn thing. We've been making changes. Since 2016, we flipped this board from a pro charter to a pro public. Since 2016, we've been doing, an awful lot when it comes to trying to bring equity into the district. I may not get along with some of my fellow board members on a personal level, but the equity resolution that at the time President Emeritus Sharon Belton Cotman put in place, we literally do make decisions based on equity in our system. Do we do it well all the time? Do we get it right on? No, but we at least have a focus and it's in policy and we have to follow it because we agreed to it. None of that was ever in place. None of that, hey, this is a policy. We need to do this. We get to remind each other that because we agreed to it as a group. I mean, there's just so much that we've tackled that a lot of people don't know. And again, that's on us for not being communicative about it. But a lot of the data points may not have been trending upwards on a global scale, but they're definitely not going down. They may even be maintaining, but they're not going down. And that's because we're monitoring them so that we put the steps in place and the different checkpoints in place and the guardrails in place in order to eventually see them go up. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of where we are today, but we're just scratching the surface. And to be honest, I would be irresponsible to walk away right now and leave all of this like undone or not in policy or not a learning curve is real for this. Everybody in the entire world can support you, but they don't sit at that table with you. And when you're by yourself there and change is happening in the administrative side, we have a new superintendent now that's bringing in new staff. I am literally since 2017, I have been with Local Progress, which is it's progressive elected officials across the country. And I've been a part of this group, and I'm co-chair of the New York Organizing Committee. I helped start the school board cohort that went from 3 members to 400. Like, these are things that you have to take on, but you have to be in the role to do it. And I want to be able to lay that groundwork for the next person. And with the allegations against the district, a new school board or new superintendent, the fact that the board is flipping to more new members, and the deficit from COVID funds they're depleted. So I left a $78 million deficit that our CFO is really doing a great job handling. A lot of districts that are much smaller than ours, being the second largest district in the state, some have straight closed down. Some have laid off a quarter of all their staff, and we're in a pretty good place considering. And again, I don't get along with some of the board members, but I'll always respect board member Woods for having that financial eye. And always since the day we came on this board together in 16, she's always, been able to ask the right questions. And I've learned from what she's brought to the table. But yeah, I don't even know if you asked all those questions, but I don't get to talk about it much. So there you go.
I mean, I think you talking about collaborating with other school board members is extremely important because sometimes people get so caught up on differences where you can really make a lot of solutions and common ground. And I really appreciate that, you do go door to door and talk to the people in the community. Um, and I was just kind of curious, when you're going door to door, is there any like issue that people mention that seems to be the most reoccurring that people talk about? And do you think you have any solution to that at all? Or what is your takeaway from door to door this year?
um, so there's been like a few. Transportation and safety have been top issues. When it comes to personal, people are like, we still have this going on. Why would I vote you in again? And like that's just real talk. And you don't want to stand at a door where your your manager is coming up behind you at another door down the street, and you're 20 minutes trying to explain like, I don't want to leave you only because we got all this stuff going on. And you don't want to say all that. So what I do is obviously make time and take their name down and give them a call, and we, revisit again. I've talked to many people multiple times, not just to advocate for myself. Everybody can have their opinions. I've had people who literally said that it's because of me and me alone that, certain populations in our district aren't graduating the way they should. I'm like, oh, I must be a powerful person to be able to just stifle a whole culture, but thank you for giving me that power. You know what I mean? I don't own that, and that's not the truth, but as long as you think so. I'm also in customer service. I run a restaurant. That's like my main gig. Customers always right, right? So I just let it be. But with transportation and the three bell, the 3-tier bell system, that we've had to kind of put in place in order for us to, uh, get the buses at least to the schools and stagger them. So we're not expecting them all at one time at schools because then they're late and this and that. That has been a real concern. Our later schools are not, sometimes with buses being late, some of our kids are getting home pretty late in the afternoons. And, some of our early schools, we have some issues around, our school's going to be open in the wintertime. It's dark. That's where the safety comes in. Um, as far as what I also hear on the flip side is the communication is better when it comes to transportation. The first student apps are working better than they've ever worked. We can track buses better. We are hiring aides as much as we can. People are like, you're not hiring them, it's your fault. It's like, we can't, other than every single one of us stand with an aide costume on every corner of every street saying, please, God, come and apply. I don't know what else we can do because we have been putting this out there. We work in collaboration with the city around civil service, and we've both incentivized, along with First Student, hiring bus drivers, hiring aides. My campaign manager's boyfriend is a First Student driver, and he makes damn good money, and he was trained very, very thoroughly, and I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, I should go be a bus driver. And he's the right guy for the job, very personable, and we need more people like him. And I don't know how more we can encourage, but I'm looking for solutions. And that's one of the things I tell people at the doors is how do we make sure people know that we're hiring. We want bus drivers, we want aides, we want security guards. We need